Film.
Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour. Okay. Madame, ici Cannes. It's wonderful to be in Cannes.
Yes,
Oui. Oui, je suis Paul. Je suis Paul. Bonjour. Okay. Paul. Are you okay? Remember? Yeah.
Wingspan is a television show and a record CD. Listen, I'd like to hand you over now for a few words from my friend, Mrs. and better half, Linda.
This next song is about a British secret agent, and it's full of foreign intrigue. It's called Live and Let Die.
As a songwriter, I'd always been interested to do things to order. One of the things in that case is that if you like the idea, you can get asked to do the Bond film.
Thanks, Bridget. Bye.
Would you want me? Hey guys. Oh, I see what you want.
So please, s'il vous plaît.
Paul, please.
Paul.
Paul, straight ahead. Oh.
Wait time.
Paul.
Bonjour monsieur, bonjour madame, bonjour Cannes, bonjour madame.
Attention.
Paul, straight ahead.
For an English voice, it's anglais.
Paul.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to move you back.
Everyone's got to move back.
Please.
Back in.
Okay.
Paul, do that again with the end. No, this side. Paul.
Blue piece goes back
Please.
in.
Sorry.
Paul.
Yes, now. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On était là, il fait un
J'ai laissé mon truc pour la conférence. Je laisse. J'ai mes affaires. Je fais pas de je vous laisse. Ouais, je vous laisse.
Move all of them, please. Now.
S'il vous plaît, vous le donnez à quelqu'un.
Okay guys.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Right, if all the TV cameramen would like to move to the back, please, yourself.
It's always a difficult question, that, because, you sort of love them all, because they're from different periods and things. You love them all for different reasons. But I think probably Maybe I'm Amazed would be like my favorite, I think, and My Love second. And then I like Daytime, Nighttime, Suffering, just because it's less known.
Hello, Paul. It's a presentation of Wingspan.
Yeah, I am a fan of cinema, but that wasn't the reason. It was, I think, just that it's a good place to come, and it actually wasn't my decision. It's more the record company. I normally ask them, where would you like me to go for these things? And they said, Cannes. I said, why? I said, well, the film festival is on. It all makes devastating sense if you think about it. Okay.
Gentleman in the second row from the back there.
Well, you come with the Wings in Jean Lépin for the Rose d'Or. Do you remember that time and that stage just behind the sea?
Yeah. And is that the question?
Yes.
Answer is yes.
It
was great. It was really great.
about that because it's Jean Lépin just near Cannes, and you come with the Wings when it was there's a long time ago.
Yeah,
and the
no,
picture
it's
is
true.
on the-
We did some very early gigs down here, yeah, and it's good memories. You know, that's the nice thing about this Wingspan project is a lot of it happened in the shadow of the Beatles, so that even we thought, you know, this is difficult because we were forming a new group. But some of those early gigs, looking back on them, were really great fun. It was good to do that. And it all comes over in this TV film. I'm not sure that gig does, but that whole idea of kind of starting again comes over.
So Paul, Alex Stanger, BBC News. You talk with great affection about Wings. Was it a happier time for you than the Beatles, do you think?
It wasn't a happier time, no, but it was a completely different kind of time. With the Beatles, it was like 4 guys coming from Liverpool and making this huge, phenomenal success. With Wings, it was like, now I was married and we had babies and we're starting all over again in the light of this amazing success of the Beatles. So, which was kind of a cheeky move if you think about it, because we could have stayed up and done like a super group. And but you know, I asked Linda if she'd be in the group, and she didn't know how to play anything. So really, what we were doing was doing what most groups do: is kind of start not really knowing what they're doing. If you think about the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and most bands, U2 and stuff, at the beginning, they don't really know how to play, but they develop it. So that's what Wings was. So they're both great fun periods in my life. I love the Beatles. The Beatles are the best band in the world, you know. But Wings was very special for me because it was my family, and we were like attempting to do it all over again, which is virtually impossible in the shadow of the Beatles, but we done did it, you know.
Gentleman down the front from Rock and Pop. No.
Hello, Paul.
All right, you first.
Yes, everybody knows the story of scrambled eggs. Since then, has many songs came out of your dreams?
No, it's true. Yesterday was dreamed, but I have had 1 or 2 since, but nothing as good. I had 1 or 2. I actually did have a dream where I heard, I was with John in the dream, and he was singing something, and you know, I woke up and thought, wow, that was, you know, it's a song I don't know that he was singing, and I did attempt to record it, but it wasn't very good. I have a little recording of it somewhere, but it just wasn't very good. He sang it better. But yeah, I have had 1 or 2 dreams. Once with the Rolling Stones doing a thing. And it's funny because you wake up and you just think, oh, it was a great dream about the Stones. You think, what was that song they were doing, you know? I did write a song called No Values, which I'd heard the Stones doing in a dream. That's why I sleep so much.
This gentleman down there from Rock and Pop.
Yeah, Jerome Soligny from Rock and Folk. At the very beginning of Wings, did you kind of consider it as a therapy for kind of standing the end of the Beatles, which was kind of a breakup hard for you, I guess?
Yeah, I didn't think of it as a therapy, but I think it was, you know. Truth was that I was faced with the decision of either...
Hi, good morning. If I understood well, the Wings story was a kind of love story and family story too. But could you...
Well, at the beginning, she didn't back really to the basics. And even though... I think her qualities were she learned really quick, and by the time doing, you try and play the keyboard part to Live and Let Die, it's actually quite difficult, you know, all those things. The other thing, besides musical, she was a great spirit in the group, really strong spirit at the center. You know, I can't tell people what to do, but as just a person living in Britain, for instance, I think the truth is, it's what we all know, is that some farmers are great and some farmers aren't. And if you're talking presumably about the foot and mouth disease, it was started by some guy not boiling his pig swill to 130 degrees, which you're supposed to do, and he didn't, you know. So then instead of putting his hand up and saying, hey, I've got an outbreak of foot and mouth, he decided the good thing to do is transport the animals. So I think that's bad farming practices. And it happens, though. It happens, and it's basically to do with greed. He wanted to save on his heating bills, presumably. But that's always going to happen. But yeah, So I think it's agriculture, you know, is down to success would be good farming practices, and crises like we've got now are probably due to bad farming crises, like BSE, you know, feeding a vegetarian animal with some diseased sheep. Not a great idea. I wouldn't have thought.
Gentleman down the front here.
Yeah, I listen mainly to radio for bands like that, you know, and I occasionally will buy an album of some band that I probably hear the single and think that's quite good, you know. I bought Coldplay recently, you know, just because I like the single. But I'm not a huge fan, but I like it, and I like what they do, and I wish them a lot of luck. But my tastes probably go further back, even beyond 60s, and the kind of stuff I listen to now, I hate to tell you, is like, you know, Nat King Cole, Fred Astaire and stuff. I just happen to be in that kind of mood. But yeah, some of the new stuff's good. I like some of the rap, some of the hip hop, particularly from America. I think some of the black soul singers and black contemporary singers have got incredible voices, like they always did. I love that, you know, that's always great.
Gentleman in the black t-shirt there.
Hello, Paul. Simon Wheeler from the Daily Star. Obviously, Wings is very much about...
Not old paper.
Obviously, Wings is very much about yourself and Linda and the rest of the band there. Could I ask what Heather thinks of the music? And, you know, is she a big fan? And, you know, does she agree with all this? Well, not agree, does she?
Yeah, actually, the funny thing is, Heather had a very sort of rough childhood. Kind of left home when she was like 13, and it's kind of well documented. I mean, she wrote a book about all that stuff. And so I think like she missed a lot of the Beatles stuff, and she's actually a big Wings fan, and I think she prefers a lot of the Wings stuff to the Beatles stuff. And I think it's a generational thing, really. It was just stuff she heard more. So she's a bit of a Wings fan, which is okay by me.
Gentleman in the second row with the moustache, goatee.
I was wondering, on this compilation, there are songs which were released under the name of Wings or Paul McCartney. Do you consider also releasing these songs that were under...
What happened was that when I was doing the Wingspan record, I just thought, well, how am I going to do this? I wanted to do it personally, so I actually just sat down and made a list of the songs I remembered from that period. And a lot of them were Wings songs, which fitted in with the whole project. Some of them weren't. Some of them were like just mine. Some of them I liked a lot. And even though they weren't officially Wings songs, what we did on the thing, you'll see it says Wingspan, Paul McCartney and Wings, hits and history. So I figured those ones are the Paul McCartney bit. And then people said, well, why didn't you enlarge it to things like Ebony and Ivory and stuff? I said, well, those are duets. That's Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. So we just, it's a very loose grouping that centers mainly on Wings, but, you know, leaks a bit into Paul McCartney and Wings. It's really just because I like them. I figured it's a good idea to give people a record of songs that every one that I like, you know. On one record there's the hits, and on the other is the ones we couldn't leave off.
Next question. Behind you, Lou, gentleman with the...
Hi, Paul. Sorry for my English. In the TV trailer, you say that kids love your songs on Beatles songs. Do you think that for those kids, for example, for me, I haven't seen the Beatles on stage, sure. But do you think that one day I will have this chance to see the rest of the Beatles on stage?
Sorry, I didn't really get the question. I'm sorry. Listen, my French is even worse than the English you speak. So
you said in the TV trailer. In the TV trailer, you said
no.
No.
Long question, short answer. I'll tell you why too, and they won't see Wings on stage either. I'll tell you why I figured it out the other day. Is that there's 3 Beatles left, and it would be a real problem to be on stage and to look over where John used to be, and he wouldn't be there. I don't think we could do that. And same answer for Wings. You know, no matter what lineup we had, he'd look over and Linda wouldn't be there. So I think it's definite that you won't see any reunions of either of those groups.
Couple more questions, ladies. Down here at the front.
CDs is like enough, you know. Luckily the record company said they do it for the maker, and they made it up. Then they sent the photographers round to harass me. I said, "Why are you here?" He said, "Because you're going to get married." I said, "No, you made it up and you believe it." There is a chance I may get married again, you know, but obviously that's for us to decide, and everyone will know. Well, you know, we'll make it public if it's going to happen. But it's a little bit embarrassing when people come up in the street and say, "Congratulations on your impending nuptials." So it's very nice. I have to say, look, it's made up, but thanks.
Hey, get out of the way. Excuse-moi. Jack. Oui, oui, un petit autograph. Okay, thank you. All right, see you. Where are we going now, guys? Someone lead us?
Paul, can we just really quickly? Hello, mate. Paul, just really quickly, just by the wingspan.
Go on then.
What do you want? Come on.
Oh, by the wingspan. Where were you then? We were doing just... Sorry, Paul.
Paul, this way. Sir, Paul, this way, please. Paul, just stand just to me if you can. You do the wingspan just to me if you can. Paul, this way, please. Please. Paul, this way again. This way again. This way, Paul. And this way again, please. Can we switch? This way. This way, Paul. Can you go down?
Excuse me. Mind your back.